This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you for reminding. Thank you very much. If anybody asks you what is Git, the best answer what you can provide is a Git is a version controlling tool. Version controlling tools are also referred as source code management tools. Version controlling tools are also called as source code management tool. SCM tools stands for source code management tools. So you can say Git is a version controlling tool. You can also say it as Git is a source code management tool. By looking at version controlling, anybody can have some understanding. So it helps you to manage the versions. Versions of what? Versions of the source code. Version controlling will help you to manage the versions of the source code. By looking at version controlling, not anybody can understand what exactly the version controlling do. Okay, it helps you to manage the different versions of the source code. To be simple to understand, we have a resume, right? We all have resumes. You create a resume, you provide your skill sets, you change your skill sets, you change your experience, and you save it. You send it to HR. Fine. After 10-15 days, you want to make few more changes. You have made some changes in your resume, in your skill sets. You have changed some dates. You have changed some roles and responsibilities. Okay. When you save it, what happens? The old resume is replaced with a new one, isn't it? The old file is replaced with a new one. Like this, you can have different iterations of your resume, different changes. Okay. Now let's say after 2 weeks you have made some changes. Now you think that the older format of resume is better. Now can you roll back? No, because you have saved it. When you save it, old file will be replaced with the new one. In the same way, developers develop the source code. Try to understand. Developers develop the source code. We all know that. And they save the source code. Let's say you are a developer, you're creating a source code of 100 lines of source code and you have saved it, compiled it, fine. Next day, client will will make some changes in the requirements, some minor changes. Whenever developer understands the changes, what he'll do, he'll open the source code and then he'll make some changes in his source code and he'll save it. Like this, developers keeps on changing the source code as and when client changes the requirements. Am I right? One day, client happily says that developers, so this the new requirements we are not happy, so we want the older stable version of the product or a project. So can we roll back? Did you save the source code of the previous versions? We have not saved it, isn't it? It's very tough to roll back to get the save source code which is we have used 15 days back, because we are not maintaining the versions. We're just changing it, file saving it. We're changing it, saving it. It's very difficult to manually go and identify which lines I have modified and again go back to previous lines. It becomes very, very difficult to help you to understand what exactly the concept of version control is. So if you use Git, yes, you can maintain different versions of the source code. Source code management becomes very, very easy. Not only maintaining different versions, any point of time you can roll back to a specific version on specific date. And then that version you can again deliver it back to the client. Okay, so on high level, this is the version controlling tool. So Git is a version controlling tool. Okay, so let's have a small understanding. Let's have a small understanding about the concept of Git. Look at this. Version controlling systems are tools that help the software team manages the source code over time. Am I right? This tool helps the team to manage the source code over a period of time. For almost all software projects, the source code is like a crown. It's a precious asset. What is the most important asset in a project? Source code. Source code is more important. It's an asset. Assuming a source code is crashed, lost, you're unable to recover it because of some hardware failure, whatever it is, it becomes a serious problem, isn't it? So it's very precious, and we need to protect the source code. Version controlling systems, VCS, or sometimes known as source code management tools, helps you to protect your source code. Most widely used version controlling system in the world is Git. Number one, there are a lot of tools. Go to Google, search for version controlling systems. You'll find a lot of tools. World's number one is Git. It is mature, actually maintained open source project developed in the year 2005 by Linus Torvalds. Who is Linus Torvalds? Is a famous creator of Linux operating system. The person who created Linux operating system, the same person has created this tool called as Git. There are two types of version controlling, important from the interview point of view. There are two types of version controlling: centralized version controlling, distributed version controlling. Git falls under the second type of version controlling, distributed version control. Distributed version controlling is the latest version controlling. Centralized version controlling systems are outdated. Right now, everybody is using distributed version controlling. Git comes under distributed version controlling. You don't need to worry about what is the difference between centralized and distributed. Centralized is outdated. Git is a version controlling tool, and it comes under distributed version control. Clear about this? So this is all about the theory, what exactly Git can do. It helps you to manage the source code over a period of time. So how can we do it? Okay, so let's try to understand practicals. So first, when you understand the concept, okay, and you should also understand who should do it. Should we developers manage the source code? Or as a DevOps team, we should manage the source code? First, who should do it? That's also important. People learn Git first. It's whose responsibility to learn Git and maintain version controlling. Should we do it or should we developers do it? Or all this will have clarity when we start practicals. So I hope you understood what is Git. Git is a version controlling tool and distributed version controlling tool. Okay, fine. It is purely the responsibility of a developer to manage the source code using Git. Very important. I repeat, it is purely the responsibility of the developer to manage his source code using Git. So we are learning Git. So see, look at this. We learn some Git commands, and using these Git commands, we try to manage the source code. Practically, this is done by the developer. So when you're learning Git, don't be under the impression that, okay, so we are learning Git, so we should manage the source code. No, we should not manage the source code. As a DevOps team, you will not manage the source code. You will instruct the development team to manage the source code using Git. You should provide the instructions to manage each and every developer's source code using Git. Assuming a development team of 100, sorry, not 100, let's say a team of developers of 10 developers. A team of 10 developers working for a client. Every developer every day develops some source code. Yes or no? Every developer develops some source code. So as a DevOps engineer, as we know Git, so do you think we will go to each and every developer's machine and we run the Git commands to manage the source code? No, not at all. First point. So we are learning Git, but don't think that we go to each and every developer's machine and say manage his source code. No, we'll instruct the developers to manage their individual source codes using the tool called Git. If you want to instruct them, we should know them. And it's also responsibility of a developer to know this basic Git commands and manage his source code individually. Okay. Clear about this? First try to understand scope. Perfect. Okay, let's proceed. So we should learn Git from the developer perspective. We should learn Git from the developer perspective. Every tool is having its own perspective. Ansible is a tool. In DevOps course we have a tool called Ansible. When you're learning Ansible, we should learn from the operations team perspective. The approach should be different. So we are learning Git from a developer perspective. So visualize that I'm a developer. Okay. Yes. Any questions, stop me, as you know, and then interrupt me and ask me questions. Yes, I'm creating a new folder called project. Any folder, folder name is not important. I have created a project. I'm working on a project. I am a Java developer. Technology is not important. Git works fine for Java projects, .NET projects, Python projects. It's a source code management tool. It behaves managing the source code irrespective of the technology. So technology is not really important. Assuming I'm a Java developer, I am an individual developer. Okay. So I got some client requirement. As client has given me a task to do some requirement. So as part of the client requirement, so what I'm doing as I'm a Java developer, I start developing the source code, public static void main. I'm developing the source code. So obviously, once a developer develops the source code, he'll save the source code with extension .java, isn't it? Somewhere where I have created, if drive project one dot java. So as part of the client requirement, I'll develop the source code. Definitely, it will be not one Java file. You'll find some set of Java files. Let's say I create some few more Java files. Done. I am a Java developer. I'm working for a project. Client has given me a requirement. As per the requirement, so I have created some source code. I have created 1.java, 2.java, 3.java, 4.java, 5.java. Yes. Generally, developer's responsibility ends with successfully developing the source code, isn't it? That's it. Source code is this. As per the tool, he'll compile the source code. .class files will be created. He will run the .class files. You get the execution, and we move that code into the production environment. That's it. That's how the responsibility ends. Creating a perfect running source code. But when a client uses DevOps methodology in the software development process, the source code needs to be managed, not manually using the source code management tool called Git. If the client is implementing DevOps methodology, if the client is implementing DevOps methodology in their software development cycle as well as management cycle, the source code needs to be managed using the tool that is Git. So generally, developers' responsibility ends with developing the source code. That's it. That's what done. His task is done. But the additional responsibility what developer needs to manage is he should manage his source code using his tool called as Git. So he should manage the source code using Git. So developers needs to do some additional task. Generally, developers, as I told you, generally developers' responsibility ends with developing this kind of source code. But now what the developer will do, he should take an extra responsibility, extra burden, extra job to manage his source code, using the tool called as Git. It's not difficult, it's very simple. So try to understand what developer will do after developing the source code. Clear? Perfect. He should manage his source code. This is a source code. The complete source code is available in which folder? The complete source code is available in which folder? The complete source code is available in the project folder. Once the source code is properly saved in a particular directory, he should manage his source code by writing some he should manage his source code by using Git commands. He should manage the source code using Git commands. So he should write some Git commands. Okay. The moment he should write the commands, then next thing what we need to think is a terminal. Where he should write it? Should I write it in the command prompt? Should I write it in putty? Should I write it in notepad? What is the terminal which is used to run Git related commands? He needs to manage. So developer should manage using Git by writing some Git related commands. Where should he write it? He should write it in terminal. The terminal is called as Git bash. What is Git bash? Git bash is a terminal. Git bash is a terminal. In this terminal, developer writes the Git commands to manage his source code. Okay, so what he needs to do, developer? He should download this terminal, install this terminal on his developer's laptop or developer's desktop. So what the developer, he needs to have a terminal. So the terminal is Git bash. We provide the instruction, please use Git bash and run the following commands. Yes. So what the developer will do? Go to Google, search for Git bash download. Take the first link. This is my Windows machine, right? Download. Where I want to download in my downloads folder. The terminal is getting downloaded.
So the Git bash tool that we are using, the terminal that we are using, and the central, wherein you said that they actually store the codes. Does it, creates a folder in the Git environment that we have, like in GitHub or something online, or is it how
It's
exactly it is?
online.
Because
It's online. It's the source code is not saved. It's saved online. Okay, I'll tell you where exactly it is.
I've seen somewhere like in people also save it on local Git
GitHub.
folders kind of thing.
Maybe you have saved it in GitHub.
Okay,
We'll see it.
thank you, sir.
We'll see it. I'll show you.
Well, this is the same one which we have earlier connected with AWS, Git Bash. They are,
You are right. This is the same terminal which we have used to use in Git bash. Nafis. It's already Friday. Tomorrow is a weekend. In this corona pandemic, there's no much difference between weekends and weekdays.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it, Vishal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better stay at home and be safe.
Yeah.
good situation in Hyderabad then.
Yeah, cases are there in Hyderabad also. Every day, official count is approximately 2,000 per day, number of cases.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Not Hyderabad, the complete Telangana state.
Now people are used to have it. They learn how
Yeah,
to be with this situation now.
yeah. Last week I went to Inorbit shopping mall. Many people having busy in KFC, McDonald's, Creamstone,
They have actually lost a
Dabas.
fear, right? Or they're tired of that fear.
Mm. They're maintaining social distancing and then going for a hygienic places rather than a street side or something. We are done with installing Git Bash.
You already have with you, and you are yesterday only connected with the Git Bash.
Yeah. I have replaced it. I just want to show you from the beginning. Done. So observe it's an exe file. So obviously when it's an exe file, you need to install it. Click on next, everything. Take the defaults. Install it on your personal laptops. Please practice, everyone. Whatever we are learning, by the time we come up with the next session, please practice whatever we are learning. That's key. That's most important.
Hello, Sunil.
Yes, Akhil.
Now is Git bash is used to maintain the source code only. But
Yes.
the GitHub also do the same.
No, GitHub is different. I'll tell you when I explain GitHub.
Okay. Because in previously, if our project source code is maintained in GitHub only.
Yes, I'll tell you.
Okay.
GitHub is, I guess, a repository.
It's a cloud repository where the source code is made. We'll see. This is day one, right? So we are still in the beginning. Let's not confuse others. Done. The terminal is installed. A developer has downloaded the terminal called Git Bash. Why did he do that? Because he needs to run some Git related commands. He downloaded and installed it. So how to know whether it's successfully installed or not? When you click on start key and search for Git Bash, can you see we are able to see Git Bash? So you should also able to see this kind of Git Bash app. Okay, so when you're able to see this kind of Git Bash app, that means yes, fine. So you got the terminal ready. Okay, so now what the developer is do? Developer should go to the location where the source code is saved. Developer should go to the location where the source code is saved. So where the source code is saved, you remember source code is saved in the project folder. Okay, so go to the location where the source code is saved, right click on here, open Git Bash from here. You should go to the location where the source code is available and open Git Bash from that particular location. Open Git Bash from here. So the Git Bash by default should pointing out to the location where the source code is saved. Git Bash should point out to the location where the source code is saved. You can see in the title bar F drive project folder. Yes, I'm pointing out to the location where the source code is saved. Now what the developer should do, he should convert this particular folder into working directory. New terminology. What the developer should do, developer should convert the folder. Which folder? In F drive we have a project folder, na? That folder should be converted into working directory. What is working directory? Working directory is nothing but a folder where the source code is saved. You know source code is saved here. in F-Drive. How does Git know that the source code is saved in F-Drive project? You convert it into a working directory. Okay, Git understands. Okay, F-Drive project is actually the folder where the source code is maintained. How does Git know it? You should tell it. You should provide instruction to the Git saying that F-Drive project folder is the location where I'm saving the source code. How do you do it? By converting that folder into working directory. The moment a folder is converted into working directory, Git starts tracking the source code. The moment you convert this project folder into working directory, Git starts tracking the source code. So you should convert the F-Drive project folder into working directory. How do you convert this particular folder into working directory? By writing a command called as git init. The first command what you're learning in Git is git init. Git init is a command which helps you to convert the folder into a working directory. So this is my F-Drive project folder which I want to convert. So I'm pointing out to the directory where I want to convert it and write the command called, what is the command I'm writing? Git init. When you run git init, the folder will be converted into working directory. Yes, the folder is converted into working directory. Done. We have done the first command of Git, that is git init. Converts the folder into working directory. You know what is version controlling? Helps you to manage the source code over a period of time. What is Git? Git is a distributed version controlling. You know there are two types of version controlling. You know what is Git cache? Git cache is a terminal. Git bash is a terminal which is used to run Git related commands. And we have converted a folder into working directory by writing a first command called git init. Whenever you convert a folder into working directory, you need to observe few things. You should do some observations. First observation. Previously there was no folder called master. Here can you see in brackets we got something called master. First thing, when you're getting something called master, that's a proof that it is converted into working directory. Previously we are not getting anything like that, isn't it? So that's the first observation. In the terminal you're getting something called master in the brackets. First observation. Second observation, go to the project folder where the source code is saved. Can you see a folder.git will be created. A hidden folder gets created. Did you create this folder? No, I have not created it. Git has created it. These are the two important observations what you need to know. You will get it whenever you convert a folder into working directory. By default, you'll find the terminal called master. What is master? We'll discuss later. That's observation. Second observation, a folder.git gets created. Don't worry about it and don't disturb this particular folder. That's the observations. You get it when you convert a folder into working directory. Okay, fine. Any questions? Okay, let's proceed. As per Git, there are three types of files. As per Git, there are three types of files. Untracked files, staged files, committed files. As per Git, there are three types of files. Untracked files, staged files, committed files. Okay. Sorry. The three types of files: untracked files, staged files, committed files. So by default, the F-Drive project folder which you have created, isn't it? The F-Drive project folder which you have created, which is having 1.java, 2.java, 3.java, you have some files, right? So by default, all these files, by default, every file is considered as an untracked file. By default, every file is considered as an untracked file. This is considerations by the Git. So all the files, let's go to that particular project folder. Yes. All these files are considered as untracked files. Okay, so you know the three types of files. Okay, so first command what we have done, by using git init command, you have converted a folder into a working directory. Okay, fine. Next point, you need to do some configurations in git. You need to do some configurations in git. You need to configure your username. You need to configure your email address. You need to configure your username and you need to configure your email address. That you have to do config. Every developer needs to do his configurations. As I said, I'm a developer. I have developed Java files. I have saved it in the folder. Now I need to manage my source code. So I have downloaded Git Bash. I have opened Git Bash. I have converted my folder into working directory by running the command called git init. That's fine. Now what you need to do, you need to do some configuration. You in this developer should do configurations. You developer should configure his email address and username. How to do it? I have the commands to do it. Git init we already have executed. Now he needs to do configurations. Git config -- global user.name, mention any username. Git config -- global user.email, configure your email. Both these configurations should be done. Okay, so I do it. User.name configured. User.email configured. If you want to check whether the configurations are successfully done or not, git config -- global -- list will list out the configurations for you. How many configurations we have done it? 2 configurations. Username is this one, email address is this one. Yes, I have done my configurations. So you have to also need to do the configurations, and this configuration is a one-time process. Don't think that we should configure every time. It's a one time. Once it is configured, save. That's it. You don't need to do it every day or every time when you start your laptop or desktop. No, configuration is a one-time process. You have done it. Next. By default, all the files, Git, as I told you, Git has 3 types of files: untracked files, staged files, and committed files. By default, every file is considered as untracked file. By default, every file is considered as an untracked file. Chanakya, how many files we have it in our working directory? Chanakya, how many files we are having it in our working directory? Okay, you have I think you have mic problem, isn't it? Is your mic problem solved?
Yep. Hello.
Yeah, Chanakya.
Yeah. I think 3. I guess. I haven't observed. I guess 3. 3 are the 3 files are there. I guess.
Look at this.
Just a second. Yeah, 5 are there.
5 files.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So by default, all these files are called as what? Untracked files.
Untracked files. Yeah.
Untracked files. By default, every file created by the developer, whenever developer creating the source code and saves it here, 5.java, 6.java, whatever he is creating, login.java, whatever it is. Every file is considered as an untracked file. If you want to confirm, look at this. We have a command called git status. Guru Saujit, we have a command called git status. Git status will show you the list of untracked files. Can you see the heading? What is the heading? Untracked files: 1.java, 2.java, 3.java, 4.java. Every file is considered as a untracked file. Untracked files are in red color. Untracked files are in red color. So try to understand, by default, every file created by the developer is considered as one tracked file. Every file created by the developer is considered as an untracked file. Now what the developer should do? What the developer should do?
Sir, I have a query.
Developer should move the files to the staging area. Yes, Prashant, 1 minute. Developer should move the files into the staging area. That's the first step. from the staging area, he should move the files into the local repository. By default, every file is an untracked file. Right now we have 5 untracked files. Now what the developer should do upon completing his development task, the extra responsibility, extra duty what the developer should do, he should move the files into the staging area, and from the staging area he should move the files into the local repository. This is the additional step, additional responsibility what the developer should do by himself individually to manage his source code. Yes, Prashant.
This particular terminal is actually helping us out with the colors. So I mean, how do we differentiate if in case the terminal doesn't support color?
Here you have a heading, na? Untracked files.
That's it. Mhm.
That's it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sunil, Dinesh here, one doubt.
Yes, Dinesh.
Can we use putty for git commands, or else only we need to have
No,
git bash terminal?
Git bash.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Ananya, the next responsibility, what the developer should do. How many untracked files we are having, Ananya? As you know, there are 5 untracked files.
5 untracked files.
Now, what the developer should do, he should move his untracked files
To the staging area.
to the staging area. Okay. Okay. I'll do it. Look at this. .java, 2.java, 3.java, 4.java, 5.java, isn't it? So first I'll show you how to move one file to staging area. And then I'll also show you how to move all the files to staging area. Let's say 1.java, the first file I want to move it into staging area. We have a command called git add file name. This command git add file name will move the files from the untracked section to the staging area. We have 5 files. Out of 5 files, the first file 1.java, I want to move it into my staging area. So the command should be git add 1.java is the command which helps me to move the file 1.java file from the untracked section to the staging. I have successfully moved the file from the untracked section to the staging area. So Ananya, now you can understand my untracked section is having not 5 files. Now my untracked section is having only
4 files.
4 files, and one file has already moved into my
Staging area.
Staging area. Now, if you want to check how many untracked files are there, we have the same old command called git status. Will show you the list of all the untracked files. You can see here previously untracked section is having 5 files. Now you are having 2, 3, 4. You're not finding 1.java in the untracked section. 1.java is moved into my staging area. The files which are there in the staging area is represented with green color. I have moved one file from the untracked section to staging area. As I have moved one file from the untracked section to staging area, the files which are there in the staging area are called as staged files. 4 files are untracked, 1 file is a staged file. Simple. You may have a question, Sunil, where can I see the staging area? Can I see staging area in my Windows? No. That's how the Git architecture is designed. It's all logical. Okay, you cannot see the staging area. You cannot see the local repository. That's how the Git architecture is designed. So everything you need to do it from the commands and verify it from the commands terminal point of view. You cannot see anything graphically.
Sunil, but like as we have a command to see the list of untracked files, do we have a list of, command for the to see the list of what is it, the staged files?
No, one Git
I
status
don't.
will show you both the files, not specifically staged files. It will show you the status of the working directory. So Git status will show you the status of the working directory. It is clearly saying that in your working directory there are 4 untracked files and 1 staged files. It shows the status of the working directory. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So if let's say a developer is having 20 files, writing individual 20 commands, git add 1.java, 2.java, it's a tedious job, isn't it? So in one single shot, he wants to move all the files from the untracked section to the staging area. We have a command called git add dot. Do you remember dot is considered as a current working directory? So all the files which are there in the working directory, all the files, every file is moved into staging area by in one single shot by using the command called git add dot. Git add dot done. Now Sandhya, what happens? All the files are smoothed into my staging area. So how many files we are having in the staging area, Sandhya? Sandhya, we have 5 files available in the staging area. And how many untracked files?
0.
0. So can we confirm it? Yes, you can know the status of your working directory by using the command called git status. All are green color. Nothing is. Can you see untracked file heading? No, there's no untracked file. So these are all staged files. Everything is in green. All the files are moved from untracked section to staging area. Done. Developer job is not completed. His responsibility is not just finish that and moving it to staging area. He should move the files from the staging area to the local repository. That's his actual target is. Final target responsibility ends by moving the files into the local repository. Right now, all the 5 files are moved into staging area. Now the developer should write one more command which helps you to move the files from the staging area to local repository. We have a command called git commit. Git commit will help you to move the files from the Git commit will help you to move the files from where to where, Prashant? Git commit will help you to move the files from where to where. Git commit will
Staging
help you
area
to
to
move the
local
files.
repository.
Yes. Git commit is a command which helps you to move the files from the staging area to local repository. Every commit should have a message. -m option is used to give the message. Message can be anything. As I'm doing the commit for the first time, I'm writing the commit message as first commit. Git commit is a command to move the files from the staging area to local repository. Every commit should have a message. -m option is used to give the message. Message name can be anything. It can be your name also. That's not a problem. So as I'm doing it for the first time, so I'm writing it as first commit. So this command, when I run it, yes. What this command has done, this command has moved all the files to the local repository. Now, how many files we are having it in the local repository? We have 5 files which are available in the local repository. How many files we are having it in the staging area? How many files we are having it in the staging area? 0. Every file
Sunil, what is
created
that
by the
yum
developer, 1 minute please,
represent?
1 minute. Every file created by the developer now moved it to staging area. From the staging area, have moved it into local repository. Now, if you want to check how many untracked files, how many staged files, if you want it, you can check it. You should write a command, whenever you want to check it, you know the status by writing a command called git status. See, you get something called working tree is clean. Are you finding any untracked section? Are you finding any staged files? No, you're nothing to commit. Nothing to commit. Everything is committed. Now it's clean. Working tree is clean. That's it. This is the job developer should do. This is the job, the additional responsibility, additional job After completing the source code, it's just running few commands, right? It's not very difficult. We'll instruct the developers to move it into staging area and move it into local repository by running these commands and making sure his working tree is clean. That's the job done by each and every developer after completing the source code. Clear? Clear about this? Yes. Now someone is asking some question.
Just wanted to know that what that M indicates. The
M
git
stands for
commit M. Sorry,
what's the
the
message?
network. I'm having a network issue. I'm not able to hear that
Okay.
specifically.
Okay. M stands for message. Every commit should have a message. The message which I'm giving it is first commit. Okay.
Okay, message. Thank you.
Sir, I have a query.
Yes. Prashant.
So this way, if in case we allow this programmers to actually, upload the files to the Git repository, they'll of course have,
Oh,
when they leave.
one minute. Prashant, in your question, you have used a word called Git repository. Tell me what is Git repository?
The centralized location where all the files are kept. I think the last option.
Now, how many files are kept in the centralized location now?
5.
Wrong.
Okay, sir.
0.
Still now we have not pushed the files into centralized locations. Files are not available in the centralized location. Centralized location is called as GitHub. Till now we have not discussed about GitHub. So there's no centralized location. This is a local within the developer's laptop.
So you can say this is on-prem, if in case they are following any strategy.
No. Now don't think that all these 5 files are uploaded in the centralized location. If it is centralized location, everybody can able to access it. You should also able to access it. Can you access these files now? No. So centralized location is something called GitHub. So that we'll be discussing future in coming classes.
Okay, sir.
Let's not get confused. Okay. Yes. Karthik.
Sunil, without entering this command, it showed in the one folder, no git bash and all. We can see that all the files are moved to the local repository.
Repeat again. Instead of
we are not giving the git command. We are stored one folder, no that.
1 minute. No. 1 minute. Git status command you're talking about. This is a command to know that everything is moved into the local repository, isn't it? Now your question is, you want to see the local repository.
No. My question is, we have after we're creating one git bash, one folder is created, no, in the file project file.
1 minute. This is the folder.
Yeah. From there we can able to view, or else just
you
created
see this.
Okay.
This is something like some predefined software is running behind it. Okay, so you should not disturb.
Okay.
Cannot see anything there.
Hey Sunil, Vikash here.
Yes, Vikash.
What's the significance of this staging?
This is how the architecture is defined. Actually, our task, Vikas, our task is to move the files to final ultimate destination is
right.
Local repository.
Yeah.
The Git architecture is designed in such a way you cannot directly move it into local repository. You need to take a hop. That's it. Move it into staging area and then into local repository. That's the concept.
Okay. Thanks.
Sunil, local repository is nothing but our local system, right?
Yes, local repository is nothing but the local system only.
But anyway, anyway, they're in our local system only, right? In project folder. Then why we need to move again to this local
to perform version control. Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, you cannot do version control. When you
Okay.
Performing version control.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, done. So develop. Yes, Chanakya.
Yes. So when we committed this git commit -m command, so is it for the entire folder wise? Like
Git commit? No, not entire folder.
Because
Chanakya,
when we committed.
No, 1 minute. Git Chanakya.
Yeah.
My bad. We have used git commit command. We have used git commit command which helps to move the files from where to where.
From staging area to local repository.
So if there are 10 files in the staging area, all the 10 files will be moved to local repository.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
entire files. Yeah.
Entire files present in the
Staging area. Yeah.
yeah, right. Present in the staging area. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
So let's proceed. Okay. So this is good. Developer has done that extra duty, taken up that extra duty by running a few couple of git commands to make sure that his files are moved into local repository. Okay. Now, as we all know, client has given some new requirements to the developer. Client has given, maybe in the next meeting, client has given some new requirements. So again, to achieve the client requirements, what the developer is doing, again, he's creating, obviously he's developed the source code. So to achieve the client requirements, he's creating again few more files, 6 dot Java, .java, created 2 more files, 3 more files, 5.6.java, 7.java, and 8.java. So 3 new files has been created. Okay, now Prashant, by default, every file created by the developer is considered as what file?
Untracked file.
Untracked file. So how to confirm whether it's considered as untracked file or not? Which command I
Git
should run?
status.
Git status.
Git status.
Prashant, untracked section, how many? 6, 7, 8. Every file considered by the every file created by the developer, Git start tracking it, and Git says that these files are untracked files. It is showing you these are untracked files, boss. Now what you have to do? Move again these files into the staging area. From the staging area, move the files into the local repository. I want to move all the files in one single shot.
Git add dot.
You can also check the status of those files. Green color. Next, git
commit
and -m. As I'm doing the commit for the second time, do you remember -m is used to give the message? As I'm doing it for the first time, I'm writing it as first commit. Now I'm doing it for the second. So I'm writing it as any name I can write it for the meaningful understanding. I'm writing it as second commit. Done. Now look at the status of your working directory. It shows, okay, boss, you are done. Nothing. Your job is done. So that's what it's saying. Nothing to commit. Everything is clean. So that's the extra what the developer should take care of whenever it creates a new source code. Yes, Nafis.
The folder which we have created for the working directory, is there any indication over there? What happens if I have a .NET solutions, okay, and I have a project files over there? In TFS, what happens? It shows you checked out. Okay, you have not checked it, but here in this case, you are able to track whether it is checked in or not. You have to run the command git status. Then only you'll come to know it is untracked. But what happens in the .NET case? You will be able to see in the solution. There will be a check mark, checked out. So without running the command, you will come to know.
More comfortable graphical representation of the status of your files. Nafis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So there are some other third-party tools which helps you to show the graphical representation of the Git commands. We have Git GUI. Okay, so that also something works similar to it. But when we are doing it from the command point of view. Okay,
I was thinking that it is failure of Git.
No.
TFS is more familiar.
Yeah, we have Git GUI tools. which helps
Okay.
you, even though you don't need to run the commands also. There are some GUI tools which helps you to graphically move from the cursor, move the files to drag and drop it into staging area automatically.
Typically, what happens, developer
The related commands gets executed. There's a GUI.
Typically, developer doesn't check the status in running the AI normally. He will forget it.
That features are also there in Git GUI, some third-party tools, but we should learn from the scratch, right? So an actual core technology.
Okay, understood.
Fine.
Hello, sir.
Satyam.
Sir, I had one doubt, sir. Sir, developers have only the authority to make the changes, or even a DevOps person can modify the changes, the thing which we are
source
doing.
Code. You're talking about source code.
Yes, source code, sir.
Your question is
that the developer can only modify.
As a DevOps engineer, can you modify the source code of the developers?
Sir.
Great. Now, Trivedi, do you know Java?
Sir, I have experienced it, but I forgot it.
Do you know Java technology?
Yes, sir, I know.
Let's say if a DevOps engineer don't know Java, now how can he change the source code? Is it?
Okay.
So if let's say it's a Python project or a Java project, some other technology is not important for a DevOps engineer. You should be able to work irrespective of the technology. Okay, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
So that's a developer team responsibility. Okay, we will not enter into development team and we will not write the source code on behalf of you. It's a purely developer's job, is it?
Okay.
I hope you understood. We will never develop the source code. Satya.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Sunil.
It's development team who will develop the source code. That's it. Yes, Sandhya.
I have a doubt that, see, for example, in the second phase, you have created 3 new files, right? That is 6, 7, and 8, and that you have moved, and like they have moved into the local repository, right? Now we have around 8 files, right?
Yes.
Hello. Okay, so what my question in the sense, suppose, like we have changed the second file, okay? The developer has changed the second file.
Now, on 2.java, he has made some modifications in the source code.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, next then.
So like, see, that is the new file, right? So even
I'll come back
like
to that. The moment a developer changes a particular source code, after moving it, 2.java is already moved into local repository. Sandhya, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
2.java is already moved into local repository. Fine. Next day, developer is coming and making small changes. He's creating one variable. That's it.
Yeah.
In some 2.java, the moment a small change is done, Git says it is an untracked file again.
Okay, again we have to. Okay.
Again, you have to start as if it's a new file. Any small change, even a single line, a single variable creation, Git says it's an untracked file, boss. You have to track it.
Okay. Okay. Again, that will be moved to the staged and local repository as a new version, right?
Yes, you are right. I don't want to do that because it gets complicated now. We'll see it in the coming classes. Okay. So, so I hope you understood now what your question is. Okay. So now how many commits first? So 1.java, 2. We have quick recap: 5 files. So it's already 7 done. Oh my God. 5 files we have moved into staging area, local repository. 3 files we have moved into staging area and moved done into local repository. Okay. How many commits we have it? We have done it. We have done 2 commits. What is the first commit? What is first commit as well as second commit? In case if you want to see the list of commits which you have done it, we have a command called git log. Git log is a command which helps you to see list of all the commits. How many commits we have done it? 2 commits. If you want to check it, we have a command called git log. Git log will show you a list of all the commits. This is the first commit we have done it, and this is the second commit we have seen it. You can see the configurations. This is the username. This is the email address which we have configured. Git also tracks at what time the commit has been done it. Whenever you want to see list of all the commits, we need to run a command called git log. Will show you the list of all the commits. And one important point: latest commit is called as head commit. Out of first commit and second commit, which is the latest commit? Second commit is the latest commit. That's the reason you can see a head here. Latest commit is called as a head commit. So that please keep in mind. So we have one more command called git log, which helps you to list of all the commits. If you don't want unnecessary information, you want to simply get the list of all the commits in one line. We have one option, one more command, git log --- one line is a command which helps you to so happily see the list of all the commits without unnecessary information. Git log one line, you can see happily first commit without all these configuration details and this commit IDs. So just having single one line helps you to get one commit in one line, and you can see head is pointing to which commit. Head is called as latest commit, and always head commits to latest commit. The latest commit is called as head commit. Okay, now look at this. This is our agenda for today's session. So we have seen how many types of files. We know Git init observations. What are the Git init observations? In the terminal, you'll find something called master. In the directory, you'll find something hidden folder called .git. How to move the files into staging area, you know it. How to know the files, how to know the status of the files, you know it by using a command called git status. How to move the files into the local repository, you know it. How to see list of all the commits, you know it. Okay, so you now started learning Git, and remember, even though you're learning Git, we will be not doing Git on behalf of the developer. Okay, very important. As we are learning Git, so don't think that once a developer creates a Java file, we will not go to developer's laptop and we will not move to git add dot commit. No, we will not do it. We instruct the developer team to do it. If you want confidently to ask the development team to do it, you should know it. First, we should know the technology. As a DevOps engineer, we are learning how to manage the source code using Git, and we are instructing the development team to do these commands and manage each and every developer source code. Okay, that's how our instructions are. Clear about this? So this is what I want to discuss in today's session. So any questions?
Sunil, what if you don't give -m for git commit? Just if you git commit,
by default, commit will be created, but how do you track it? It will be difficult to track it. Huh?
Okay.
Problem comes when you want to roll back the source code. Okay, so that's the reason we like message for our understanding purpose.
Okay. And what is the use of that configuration, Sunil? Like username and email you entered.
That's the process. These configurations will be reflected into GitHub, the centralized repository, which we'll discuss later.
Okay, Sunil. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank
Hello.
you, Bharat. Yes.
Sunil, how can we know the versions? Only through the commit command only we will know the
versions.
Versions. Like recently updated, only through the commit command.
Yes, using the commits.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Chanik.
Similar to Subversion, I guess.
Yes, it is something similar to Subversion only. Okay, from the DevOps perspective. Okay, this is Subversioning. Okay, finally Subversion also do the same thing, right? Versioning.
Same thing, yeah. That is what I'm thinking.
Same thing from the Git tool point of view. From the DevOps methodology point of view, they have created one tool called Git and doing subversioning.
But TFS is more useful for this one. I mean, it's not open source, but Microsoft
user friendly.
User friendly. Very useful.
Here also we have user friendly GUI software of Git. Okay, third party. We don't want to install it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Guru Saujit. Okay, no session on Saturday, Sunday. Okay, have a nice weekend. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, please practice whatever we are learning. Next session is on
Monday,
6 o'clock.
And what about advance? You'll update us advance of AWS.
Oh, okay. Nafis, first I should study and then I'll teach.
Okay, no worry.
Okay. Thank you, Srinivas. Okay. So, and one more thing. And then one more point. Monday, next session on Monday, and not this meeting link. You get a different meeting link to your email addresses. Okay. This meeting link may. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thanks, Sunil.
Thanks, Sunil. Bye.